It's like you wake up and you wake up under a swimming pool filled with fear and anxiety, and that's fear and anxiety is where you breathe in and what is where you breathe out. And there is nowhere you can escape. Hello, welcome, dreamers. My name is Sophie, and I am a watercolorist. I am the owner and the artist at dreamingwatercolor.com. So you're listening to my podcast. And in my podcast, I talk about everything about being an artist, run a art business, and be a single parent at the same time. If you're here for the first time, so I have a oversharing problem. So I started this podcast so that people in this community or experiencing changes in their life can relate to my life, and we can be on this journey together, and so we don't have to feel alone. I am the oversharing patient, and you're here just to hang out with me. Today, I'm going to talk about being in a trench of fear. Those very early days of starting becoming an artist and starting an art business. And I distinctively remembering there are months at a time where there is not much action, not much income in my business, and I'm just every day there is a void of any other action except this tremendous sense of fear. And today I'm going to share about my life during those times. And before we go into the dark topic, I always introduce one of my painting to you and give you a little backstory about my painting. So this is my painting called Tulip because it's a painting of a tulip. This was early 2024, around April or May. Here in Washington State, we have a tulip festival every spring, and it's all often also the most rainy part of the year. So I wanted to I want to capture this sense of early spring excitement with sense of early spring wonder. So here's my tulip painting with the water drops, the dewdrops right after a rainstorm. Please support real artists, people who actually paint on canvas or paper with real paint and brushes. So if you would like a copy of this painting in prints, visit my website, dreaminwatercolor.com. And this is how I pay my bills and run my business. Thank you for your support and interest. Now that part is over, let's talk about fear, because part of the reason I do this podcast is for my own record. If I'm sitting here today, I can tell you all about how I started a business, what I went through, how I felt, what was normal, and what was difficult for me, because this was only a little over a year ago. This was January 2025 through April 2025. And I can remember what it feels like now. But I know as an business owner, everything will move super fast. And I can remember what decision I made or how well things went, how my business grow a couple years down the line, but I probably will not remember exactly how I feel at certain time. The anxiety, the sweat, the hours and hours staring into the blankness because of, panic attack, all that stuff. It's like the mother forget about the pain of childbirth, and she's like, I honestly believe that when a pain does not transfer into long-term trauma, a pain is just how you feel at the time. And this did not. Spoiler alert. I think I will forget how I feel. And this is a record for people who needed to hear this day and tomorrow and a couple years down the road. So this is a period of time where I have decided to register myself and go down a business model where I sell my art at market, just local events, rather than keeping my art in a gallery. And so what happens when you're applying for art show is that you have art show in Washington State because we have cold, wet winter. Most things happen in the summer and you need to apply for these art shows half year ahead of time. And the earliest art show is in April every year. It's called Best of Northwest, the spring show. And it's a long-standing art show. The words art is very prestigious, and as a first-year artist, they even have a special application for emerging artists. So in January, after I have all my equipment and all my supplies, and I will talk about what equipment and supplies I have to get ready for our show in a different podcast. But at this time, I already got those. I applied to a number of art shows, including the Best of Northwest Spring Show. And I also applied to Emmons Art Festival. I also applied to the uh, Gig Harbor League Art Festival. I have applied to Fresh Paint in Everett. Basically, there's this system called, what is it called again? Application. Yes. The application. I also applied to Anacortes Art Fair. I tell everybody when I apply for these art show is, you know what? I'm just going to apply for every darn things because I don't care if my art is good enough for the art show yet. I don't know. I don't know what they think of my art, and I don't have an ego to break yet. So if they reject me, I will think it's completely normal because I don't have any experience to get my feelings hurt. But what if they don't reject me? What if they accept my application? Then I get to sell my art with them. And I did. I applied to every single one of them. And it turns out, doesn't matter how much a beginner a person is, or at least I was. I had an ego too to get hurt, and it was terrifying waiting for those jury results to come in. So January, I got my booth shot. I got my booth set up in my deck for the first time. Applied with those booth shots and a lot of my photos sitting there. January, February, March, April, waiting for the jury result. At the same time, I also applied for being part of the Redmond's Farmers Market. So that allowed me a whole 6 months of selling every Saturday at farmers market. Because why not? You need to start somewhere, right? That's my thought process. I wasn't picky. I wasn't upscale. I needed to get experience with selling. And so the long winter proceeded. There is so much to get ready for art show, and but I don't know who will let me sell. So on one end, I am getting ready for shows that I don't even know I will be part of or not. On the other hand, I cannot just wait. Because if I got in, then I need to have things, I need to have my ducks in a row in case they do want me. I find myself waking up, and you know how in the morning when your conscious return to you and you register what day of the week this is and what's happening today, and immediately that conscious return to my head And I breathe a whole lungful of realization and fear says, oh my God, I'm at this part of my life where I do not know what have I got myself into. I honestly, there is no money made yet. So it's not like I can go bankrupt if this does not work. But there's a lot of ego put on the line where I choose to become an artist and I it might not work out. And that is the fear that this might not work out. I have decided that I want to be an artist and I'm just waiting for the world to tell me if I have the permission to put up a fight. And that's terrifying because under a line written statement that says, who do you think you are that you get to become an artist, to be called an artist? Because artist is just a thread away from insanity. And I'm afraid that I'm delusional. You know, those shows like Voice or, American Got Talent or what's earlier one where they show the clips where someone thinks they can sing and they go on the stage and they say, oh, my friend, tell me I'm the best singer. And then they sing and then the judges go, oh, I'm sorry to break it to you, but you, you, you can't sing. But I'm afraid I'm one of those people that I am delusional that I am any good at this. And then every day you're asking yourself, if I'm really delusional, then I am on my way to get embarrassed. Someone will eventually have to tell me that I'm not any good at this. I don't know what to do when my friends, everybody tell me that my art is really good. What if everybody is just trying to be nice to me? What if everybody is just trying to be supportive and trying to use their words to soothe me? And what if that's it? And every day I just flip through these thoughts in my head. I spend hours wondering what if that's the case. And then there are other pieces that if you're starting a business, you're looking at so many aspects. You're an artist, but you're also a business person, and you need to learn the business aspect of things, such as if I want to be a art business owner, then I need to know way of marketing myself. I need to know ways of doing social medias, have a schedule, have deadlines, how to have a way of producing prints and have knowing how to frame my art. All these things I have to learn over time. How to frame my art. What do you achieve a uniform look and how to price your things, how to have a online presence, how to create content, how to talk about your art. And there are things throwing around how to storytell and how to be professional. And there's so many bits and pieces, and there is a looming feeling that I am missing something here. Like there are some essential part of running a business that I am I haven't realized it's there. For example, you see those people who start a business and is under the impression that once you put it out there, then buyer will come and they're missing the marketing pieces of running a business. And what if I'm missing something like big, major? And because I'm missing that part, then I will hit a wall and realize, oh, this machine does not run because I'm missing a big component of this. And I'm just waiting for that thing to reveal to myself. And of course, there's a constant fidgety kind of anxiety going on that I think I should be doing something. Like I'm not doing enough. I should be doing something to improve my odds. I should be doing something better, perfecting something to make this work. So don't get me wrong, I did ton of stuff from January to April, but mm, doing those things under this tremendous amount of fear and anxiety was difficult. It's like you wake up and you wake up under a swimming pool filled with fear and anxiety, and that's fear and anxiety is what you breathe in and what you breathe out. And there is no where you can escape. During those period of time, I start to receive results for my jewelry application. And they're not bad. Actually, the first one I got was that I become a vendor at the second Whippy Rin Fair. And then I got admitted to a Best of Northwest Spring Show on a normal application because I thought I would give myself two chances. I will apply with a normal application. If I don't get in, then I will apply for the emerging artists application. I didn't have to do the second application. I was admitted the first time around. Then I was told that I was invited to do Redmond's farmers market for the whole summer. Then I came uh to waitlist. I was waitlisted for Edmonds Art Festival and Anacortes Art Festival. But Edmonds Art Festival also have a sideshow that's specifically, I think, for the local artists. And they say, hey, how about have a spot in this one? And in case you get into the main show, we'll transfer your application over there. So suddenly I have place to go. I have things to do. I need to figure out how to sell at this festival, which a significant amount of excitement is, oh, I was given a stage. I was offered opportunity to fight for my career, and things are starting coming in, and a lot of excitement mixed with brand new anxiety. Oh my gosh, what now that I am offered a stage, I I have the opportunity to totally mess it up. It never ends. And so during those times, I have to do a lot of paintings to cover my booth twice. In case I ever sold out the entire booth once, I have enough painting to cover it another time. Imagine that. That is what I'm preparing for my ceiling, which did not, it wasn't necessary, but I didn't, I prepared for it. At the same time, I have no space in my house to do anything. I don't have space for my computer. I don't have space for scanning or printing. I don't have a space to frame my any of my paintings. So I invested, in addition to my booth, I invested to a home studio. I bought brand new tables, all this brand new computing station. I invested in professional scanners. I invested in my own G-Clay printer, and I found supplier for quality paper. And I invested in a station where I can manage all my paper cutting and framing station where I do some of the rough work, and I have a painting station which can spread out all my references and paints. And I painted 20 something painting in the matter of 3 months. I was on a time crunch and I had to frame all of those. I had to learn how to make my own Giclée prints. And through the whole process, I I was breathing and breathing in and out of fear and anxiety. And the tough part is to keep moving and not get paralyzed by fear. I feel like a part of me was very much paralyzed. I often find myself staring into the blank for hours at a time, just having that anxiety attack where I can't do anything. The possibility of not things not working out just took over me. And I start to dissociate my functional part of the brain with my emotional part of the brain. I found that I start to have emotional amnesia of I don't remember how I did that, but I did that. I don't remember how I got over that deadline, but I got over that deadline. And I feel like I split into two self at that very bottom pit of the fear stage, where one of them is carrying all the emotional pain, like Frodo, and my functional self become Sam. And Sam was carrying Frodo because Sam cannot carry the ring, but Sam would carry Frodo. And so my functional self would move my body, and my emotional self would sort of shut down and not remember much what happened. And that's how I got through that phase. And I I don't regret any part of that. I feel I f- I feel extremely alive fearing that amount of fear. And what I know now, and I hope was the case, which turned out to be true, was that it was a trench of fear. And to get out of that trench, meaning that I had to keep moving. As long as I keep moving, as I keep doing, and I check up one thing off the list, and I meet one deadline at a time, and I keep moving and not dwell in that that fear, I will eventually climb out of that trench. And I did. And so a year and a little bit more later, so this is, as I'm recording this, this is still May 2026, a little bit over a year later. I am doing really well, and my art is paying my bills and supporting my life. I no longer have, I no longer experience that intense of a fear anymore. I have fear here and there, mostly anxiety, but that's normal because I am living on the edge. And it is still very daunting to say out loud, I am an artist. I am an artist that's living a mega city and paying a cost of living in this city. And that's very overwhelming. But it's nothing compared to that phase of my life. And I am very, very proud of myself. So if you are staring into a pit of fear in front of you, and then you need to wade through or push yourself through a molasses of unknown, I hope you take comfort from how I remember I went through it and where I am now. And I hope you have the courage to walk down that dark aisle. I'll tell you how I had a vision deep down that bring me tremendous amount of hope. I had a vision that I was standing on a stage, and I in the back of my head, you know how you're standing on a stage, there are lights coming that lit up the stage. I can hear those lights being shut down one at a time. It make big loud banging noise every time when a light got shut down to turn off. And I'm standing on a stage where light was shutting down and there was only one spot of light left for me. And I know that light is still on, is for me to take a bow. I need to appreciate everything I got from my previous life as a physical therapist who worked in a healthcare career. And what's in front of me is a dark pathway, and I can't see anything, but on the distance end of that pathway, I hear banging noises of lights turning on a different stage. And that vision gave me tremendous amount of comfort. Is that it's time. I can take my time taking that bow and appreciate what I had before, but down that dark pathway of fear is something on the other end that's lighting up waiting for me. So that was very comforting. So if you're still here, I maybe you are mentally preparing or thinking of making a big change in your life. And I hope you take comfort in what I share with you today. Please interact with my content, subscribe, stay tuned with my content. I hope the way you're interacting with this podcast will bring it to more people who are going down the same journey, and we can do it together and not feel alone. And I'll see you in my next podcast, where I will be talking about me as a creative, parenting creative next generations. And I will see you in the next podcast.